The parliamentarian does not rule.
Okay.
The chair of the Senate, who's sitting in the chair, she advises the chair. Mm-hmm. So first of all, there's real concerns about the parliamentarian's ruling. She's not ruling. She is advising who's sitting in the chair. The chair can accept the advice or not accept the advice, which is an important point.
Thank you.
And I just want to make that clear. In terms of, I don't know.
That's news to most people. We hear about the parliamentarian ruling all day long. You've got senators calling for her firing today, Bill, so that's a pretty important detail.
I think that's so unfortunate. She is a career person. She's not political. She's just abiding by the law, and she is carrying out her responsibilities effectively. Reconciliation has become something that's much more than what it used to be. And people are using it for things that was never intended. This is supposed to be a budget act. Now, in terms of the provider tax, I don't know the specifics. I can tell you that I think we had a provision earlier this week that was that she said violated the Byrd Rule, had to do with the SNAP program and a state match. It was a simple fix. It was a date. I don't know exactly what it is that's creating the current problem, but I do have a feeling that it's probably something that's fixable because this does save something like $280 billion, $250 billion over the next years. So I just want to make it clear that this is, I think we're rushing to judgment here. I think the staff now understand there may be some tweaks they have to make in the legislation. It may be greater than that. I don't know. But I don't want to put all this burden that the parliamentarian has ruled. Mm-hmm. She is advising.
Well, I think the reason some people view this as being potentially something more definitive is because, by and large, the signal from Republican leadership to this point has been, we will abide by the guidance of the parliamentarian. Do you think if they cannot fix it, there's a chance that they actually decide to ignore her advice?
Well, exactly. Now, what happens is she tells the chair, this particular provision violates the Byrd Rule. A point of order is well taken. At that particular point, the chair, who's sitting in the chair, that could be the vice president of the United States, could say, no, I don't think so. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to rule that it violates it. Now, at that point, we're wonky. At that point, somebody can stand up, I question the ruling of the chair. Uh-huh. And at that point, it would require 60 votes to overturn the ruling of the chair. So the chair can make the final decision, and it would require 60 votes to overturn the chair. Huh. So it's possible that they could say, listen, we're going to roll the dice, and we're not going to fire the parliamentarian. We're simply going to raise the point of order and waive the point of order if it comes to that point.
So it sounds like Senator Tuberville should be calling for the firing of the chair, if anyone, in this particular case, which I guess is not a very realistic idea. But so the idea, though, that this goes back to the drawing board, it can be rewritten in a way that may satisfy the parliamentarian.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I have a feeling this does have a budgetary consequence, clearly, $250 billion. It does have a budgetary consequence.
Yes.
And so I think it meets that test. There must be something else in it. May be a date. It may be something. It's very restrictive. But I think this is something that probably can be fixed by the staff. I don't know. I'm a bit fair about it. I don't know what specifically it was that created the point of her concern that it violates the Byrd Rule. Yeah.
So we have a question of if it can be fixed, also a question of on what timeline, knowing that the Senate wanted to have a vote-a-rama this weekend, start the recess, come Monday, give it to the House, hope this thing is all said and done, signed by the president July 4th. What does that timeline look like now in your mind, Bill?
I've been one of the more pessimistic ones about this. I think the July 4th deadline is kind of somewhat arbitrary in terms of we don't have to have this finished. And I think they can. I'm certain that's what the president wants, is to have it on his desk, but that requires getting it out of the Senate, and they're changing it, so it'll have to go back to the House. The House will have to be called back from recess next week to vote on it, to get it there by the 4th of July. There's still a lot of work to be done. It seems that you should slow down, take your time, do it right, and get the votes. Right now, I don't think they have the votes for what's in the Senate, let alone maybe what would be in the House. So it's going to take a little time here to still work this out. So I'm the one who probably will miss on this because, boy, there's a lot of pressure to get it done by the 4th. But I think that's a little bit too ambitious of a schedule right now.